The Earth was silent the day the Titan rose. From orbit, the ship looked like a floating city of steel and light. It was called Horizon, the first Titan-class warship built by humanity. No vessel before it had matched its size or its purpose. Some said it was too large, too powerful, too much of a statement to the stars. But others said it was the only way to show that humanity was ready to step beyond its small corner of the galaxy. Captain Myra stood on the main deck as the final checks were completed. She was not a tall woman, but her presence filled the room. The crew moved quickly, responding to her steady voice. Each officer knew that this day was more than just a launch. It was the beginning of something greater, something no one could truly predict. The Horizon had taken 20 years to build. Nations that once argued and fought over resources had put aside their differences for this project. It was the first time in history that all of Earth had worked together on one dream. That was why the Titan mattered. It was not just a warship. It was a symbol of survival and unity. "Report," Myra said calmly. "Engines stable," answered Ryan, the ship's chief engineer. He had worked on Horizon since its first frame was laid in orbit. His hands had touched every part of its core. "Navigation ready," added Sarah, the pilot. She sat in her chair with sharp eyes fixed on the console. "All systems green," said Hale, the weapons officer. He was young but steady, chosen not for his strength but for his discipline. Myra nodded. "Then the Horizon awakens." The ship's engines roared with quiet power. They were not loud like old rockets. Instead, they hummed with deep resonance, as if the heart of Earth itself beat within them. The Titan began to move, slow at first, then with greater speed. Docking clamps released one after another until the ship was free. From Earth, billions watched on screens. Children cheered. Elders whispered prayers. For them, this was history being written before their eyes. In deep space, far beyond human reach, others were watching too. Alien eyes studied the sudden rise of the Titan with unease. For centuries, the galaxy's great powers had thought of humans as a small, stubborn race bound to one world. They had seen humans send small ships, fragile explorers, and merchants to the stars. But never something like this. The Xeric Dominion, a powerful reptilian empire, sat in council. Their leader, a scaled figure with cold eyes, spoke with caution. "The humans have built a Titan. If they send it beyond their borders, it will shake the balance of power." In another sector, the Thelen Union, known for wisdom and knowledge, held their own meeting. Their scholars argued. Should we fear the humans, or should we guide them? A Titan is a tool of both war and peace. Which path will they take? But the humans knew nothing of these talks. On the horizon, Myra only thought of the journey ahead. "Set course for the outer rim," she ordered. "We go where no human ship has gone before." The crew exchanged looks of both excitement and nervousness. This was more than exploration. It was the first step into a larger stage where countless other races lived, fought, and watched. As the horizon sailed out of Earth's shadow, sunlight struck its hull. Panels of metal shone like silver fire. Its towers rose high, filled with living quarters, command rooms, weapon bays, and engines that pulsed like the veins of a giant. The Titan was alive now, and it carried with it the hopes of billions. Myra let herself breathe. She had trained her whole life for this moment, but training could not prepare anyone for the weight she now carried. Humanity was behind her, trusting her to lead this great ship into the unknown. She remembered the words spoken at her appointment: "A Titan is not just power. It is proof that humanity can rise together." Do not waste it. Do not lose it. Those words burned in her heart. The first day passed with calm. The crew settled into rhythm. Engines held steady. No threats appeared on the scanners. Yet even in this peace, there was tension. Every officer knew that the moment they left the safety of Earth's zone, they would no longer be alone. Hale broke the silence at one point. Do you think we'll meet them soon? Myra turned her head slightly. Who? Aliens, he said. The ones everyone whispers about. The ones who watch us. For a moment, Myra said nothing. Then she gave a small smile. If they are watching, then let them see who we are. Let them see the strength of the horizon. The ship continued forward, a giant shadow against the endless stars. Unknown to Myra and her crew, messages were already spreading across the galaxy. Some called the horizon a threat. Others called it a miracle. But all agreed on one thing: humanity had changed the game. The Titan was awake, and the galaxy was holding its breath. The horizon moved further from Earth, its great engines pushing it into the dark sea of space. To the crew, it felt like freedom. To the rest of the galaxy, it felt like a storm rising. The Titan-class warship was no secret. Its size, its power, and its purpose were all visible to any eye that dared to watch. And many were watching. In the far sector of the Xeric Dominion, news of the horizon reached the council chamber. The chamber was vast, filled with stone pillars and lit by red flames. The Xeric were a proud reptilian race, their scales glimmering like polished armor. Their leader, Overlord Kron, listened to the reports with narrowed eyes. A single human ship this large cannot be ignored, said one of his generals. If it enters our borders, it will challenge our strength. Another general hissed in agreement. Humans are reckless. They build such a monster not for peace but for war. Overlord Kron raised his clawed hand for silence. The humans were once scattered, fighting each other. Yet now they stand united. That is more dangerous than their weapons. A Titan warship is not a blade. It is a banner. Wherever it goes, it will draw attention. The generals fell silent. They understood. If humanity could unite behind one Titan, then perhaps they could unite behind many. While the Xeric worried about strength, another people saw the horizon with different eyes. In the halls of the Thelen Union, a council of scholars gathered. Their faces were slender, their eyes bright with wisdom. They valued knowledge above conquest, and their debates often lasted long into the night. One scholar named Terran stood before the others. The humans have built something extraordinary. A Titan of such scale requires unity, vision, and skill. Should we not welcome them into the galactic stage? A second scholar, Vela, shook her head. Welcome them too soon, and we may regret it. A Titan can bring peace, but it can also bring ruin. Do we know which path the humans will choose? The council argued. Some believed humanity should be guided, taught the ways of balance. Others believed humanity should be contained, kept from growing too quickly. In the end, no agreement was made. But one truth was clear: the horizon had made humanity impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, whispers spread from one world to another. Merchants carried the news. Travelers repeated it in every port. The story changed with each telling. Have you heard? The humans built a ship the size of a city. They say it carries weapons that can cut a planet in two. No, no, it is not a weapon. It is a fortress for peace. Peace? Humans do not build for peace. They build for survival. The rumors grew with every voice, and soon even the smallest colonies at the edge of the galaxy knew of the Titan. The galaxy froze in anticipation, waiting to see where the horizon would go, what it would do, and who it would meet first. On the horizon itself, the crew had no idea how wide the ripples of their journey had spread. To them, the mission was simple. Explore. Learn. Prepare for contact. Captain Myra stood at the command deck, her gaze firm on the stars ahead. "Status?" she asked. "Engine steady," Ryan answered from engineering. His pride in the Titan showed in his tone. He treated the ship as if it were alive, as if every hum and pulse mattered. "Navigation clear," Sarah added. "We are crossing into deep space. No obstacles so far. All weapon systems in check," Hale said. "But I hope we do not need them." Myra allowed herself a small smile. "Hope for peace. Prepare for challenge. That is the way of Horizon." The crew worked with quiet focus. Yet even in their calm, they felt a weight. They knew that out there, beyond the stars, someone might already be watching. Later, during a meal in the common hall, the crew spoke of their thoughts. "What do you think aliens will be like?" one asked. "Tall, maybe. With wings," another answered, half joking. "No," said Ryan, shaking his head. "Aliens are not what matters. What matters is how they see us. If they see us as a threat, they will act. If they see us as weak, they will act too. We must show them that humanity is neither reckless nor fragile. We are strong, but we seek peace." Myra, seated at the head of the table, listened quietly. She knew Ryan spoke the truth. Every action of Horizon would be judged by alien eyes. One mistake could shape how the galaxy remembered humanity forever. Far away, in hidden stations, alien spies continued to watch. The Xeric tightened their fleets, preparing in case humans proved dangerous. The Thelen sent quiet envoys, curious but cautious. Others, unseen yet listening, prepared their own plans. The Horizon sailed on, unaware of the deep currents it had stirred. Its engines glowed, its hull shone, and its crew carried the weight of billions. They thought they were beginning a journey of exploration. They did not yet know they were also beginning a trial, one that would decide if humanity rose as a partner to the stars or as a rival to them. The galaxy waited. The rumors spread. And every eye turned toward the Titan. The Horizon moved deeper into uncharted space, its giant engines leaving a silver trail behind. The crew had settled into rhythm. Days passed with scanning, charting, and training. Each member knew their role, but beneath the routine, a quiet tension grew. The question no one asked aloud was simple: when would they meet another species face to face? Captain Myra felt it more than anyone. Every time she stood at the command deck and looked at the stars, she wondered which one held their first encounter. Humanity had waited centuries for this moment, and now it was near. One shift, Sarah's voice broke the silence. "Captain, I am reading something. A vessel at long range. Not human." The deck grew still. "Confirm," Myra ordered. Sarah's fingers moved across the controls. "Shape and energy signature do not match any human ship. It is small, fast, not built for war. It is, observing us." The words hung heavy in the air. The crew exchanged glances. This was it, the first confirmed alien ship approaching Horizon. "Bring it on screen," Myra said. The image flickered into view. Against the dark of space floated a sleek vessel, silver with blue markings that shimmered like water. Its design was graceful, not like the heavy lines of horizon. The alien ship pulsed with soft light, as if alive. Ryan leaned forward, eyes wide. Beautiful. Hale's hand hovered near his console. Or dangerous? Myra raised her voice firmly. Hold positions. No weapons. We greet them as explorers, not as enemies. The alien vessel drew closer but kept a safe distance. Then signals began to flow. Strange patterns of light appeared on the horizon's monitors, shifting in rhythm like waves. They are sending communication, Sarah said. Can we understand it? Myra asked. Ryan and the translation team worked quickly. Algorithms twisted through the patterns, comparing them with human language. At first it was only sound, tones that rose and fell like music. Then slowly, words began to form. This is the vessel of the Thelen Union, the translator announced. We greet the humans of Earth. We seek knowledge, not war. The crew let out a breath of relief. Myra stood tall. Open a channel. Her voice carried through the horizon's speakers, translated into tones the Thelen could understand. This is Captain Myra of the Titan warship Horizon. We greet the Thelen Union. We come in peace. For a moment, silence filled the bridge. Then the alien voice returned, calm but cautious. Your vessel is large. Larger than any we have seen from your kind. Why does humanity send such a ship into our stars? It was a fair question. Myra chose her words with care. The horizon is more than a weapon. It is a shield. We built it to protect our people, to survive in a dangerous galaxy. But we do not seek conquest. We seek friends. The crew watched her closely. Every word mattered. This was humanity's first true impression. The Thelen replied, we will see if your words hold truth. With that, their vessel drifted closer, matching speed with horizon. The two ships floated side by side, one built like a fortress, the other like a flowing sculpture. Ryan whispered, history is happening right now. But Hale did not look at the beauty. He watched the sensors carefully. Their ship has no heavy weapons. But if they called for others, we would not know until too late. Myra heard him but did not respond. She knew the risk, but fear could not guide humanity's first steps. The two ships exchanged more signals. Images of Earth were sent: blue oceans, green forests, cities glowing at night. In return, the Thelen sent images of their homeworld: vast crystal plains, floating towers, rivers that shone like liquid light. The crew stared in awe. For the first time, humans were looking directly into the life of another world. Yet beneath the awe, questions lingered. Why had the Thelen come? Were they the first to approach because they were curious, or because they were cautious? And were others watching this meeting, waiting to see how it ended? Later, in the common hall, the crew spoke quietly over their meals. Do you think they trust us? Someone asked. They came close, didn't they? Another replied. That means something. But they also tested us, Hale said, his tone firm. Their first words were about our ship's size. They fear Horizon. Do not forget that. Myra listened, saying little. She knew Hale was right. The Thelen's tone was cautious. And if the Thelen had already reached out, then surely the Xeric and others were watching too. Humanity had stepped onto the stage, and the audience was large. Back on the command deck, Sarah spoke softly. Captain, the Thelen vessel is still with us. They are following our course. Let them, Myra said. If they want to learn, then let them learn. We will show them who we are. The Horizon sailed on, side by side with the Thelen ship. For the first time in history, humans traveled alongside an alien ally, however cautious. But far away, not all eyes looked with curiosity. In the dark halls of the Xeric Dominion, fleets were being prepared. The Overlord had given orders. If humanity truly carried Titans into the stars, the Dominion would not wait for peace. The Horizon's crew did not yet know. For now, they only saw the beauty of new friendship. Yet in the silence of space, danger already stirred. The galaxy was no longer holding its breath. It was beginning to choose sides. The Horizon and the Thelen vessel drifted side by side through silent space. To the crew of Horizon, it felt like progress. Humanity was no longer alone. They had shared greetings, traded images, and seen the beauty of another world. Yet even in this fragile moment of peace, unease remained. The Thelen were cautious, and their eyes lingered too long on the Titan's size and power. On the command deck, Myra stood watching the alien ship. It glowed faintly, its hull shimmering like flowing water. Compared to Horizon's fortress-like build, the Thelen vessel seemed fragile. But Myra knew appearances could mislead. "They are scanning us again," Sarah reported quietly. Hale frowned. "They say they seek knowledge, but they do not hide their suspicion. Every pass of their scanners looks at our weapons first." "Let them look," Myra said calmly. "If we hide, they will not trust us. If we are open, they may understand that Horizon is not made for conquest." Ryan leaned forward from his station. "But Captain, will they believe that? To them, this ship must seem like a sword pointed at the stars." Myra did not answer at once. She knew the truth. Horizon was both shield and sword. Built for survival, yes, but also ready for war if war came. To prove humanity's intent was the greatest test, and this first encounter could decide their future in the galaxy. Hours passed. The Thelen ship stayed near, exchanging more signals, asking questions about Earth, about history, about humanity's reason for unity. Myra answered as best she could. "We fought ourselves for too long," she explained. "We learned the cost of division. The Horizon is not just metal and engines. It is proof that we stand as one world now." The Thelen response came, soft but sharp. "Unity is rare. But so is honesty. If your Titan is truly a shield, then why carry weapons strong enough to break fleets?" The words struck deep. Myra held her breath, then spoke slowly. "Because peace without defense is only waiting for conquest. We wish no war, but we will not be weak." Silence followed. The Thelen gave no answer. Later, Myra walked the observation deck alone. The stars stretched in endless waves before her, but her thoughts remained heavy. She remembered the council back on Earth, their warnings, their hopes. Every step you take will be watched. Every word you speak will weigh on humanity's future. She could feel those eyes even now. Her reflection in the glass showed a calm face, but inside her chest, her heart beat fast. Elsewhere on the ship, the crew spoke in hushed voices. "They do not trust us," one officer said. "It is clear in their questions." "Would we trust them if they came to Earth with a ship this size?" another replied. Hale, standing nearby, crossed his arms. "Trust is not the issue. The issue is what comes next. If the Thelen are watching us, others will be too. Not all will come with greetings." He was right. Far away, in the Xeric Dominion, fleets moved in secret. Overlord Kron studied reports of Horizon's movements and clenched his claws. The humans meet with the Thelen. If the scholars accept them, then the balance shifts. We cannot allow it. His voice was steady, but beneath it burned the will of war. Back on Horizon, the tension grew sharper. One evening, alarms sounded. Multiple signals at long range, Sara reported quickly. Unknown ships approaching. The crew rushed to their stations. For a moment, fear spread. Was this the end of peace before it began? The screens lit up with images of sleek warships cutting through space. The design was clear Xeric. The Thelen ship pulled back, sending a final message. We warned you, humans. The galaxy watches, and not all eyes are kind. Stand ready. Then the Thelen vessel vanished into hyperspace, leaving Horizon alone. On the bridge, Hale's jaw tightened. They abandoned us. No, Myra said, her voice steady. They tested us. Now the Xeric come, and the true trial begins. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. None of them had wanted a battle, not now, not on their first journey. But the choice was no longer theirs. The sensors filled with the growing mass of Xeric ships. Dozens of them. Fast, armed, and moving with clear purpose. Ryan whispered, "We are outnumbered." Myra looked around at her crew. Each face carried fear, but also determination. These were not soldiers of conquest. They were explorers, engineers, pilots, dreamers. Yet now they stood at the edge of the unknown, facing war. She spoke with calm fire. We are Horizon. We carry the hopes of Earth. We will not break. Ready the shields. Prepare all systems. Show them humanity does not bow. The Titan came alive. Engines burned brighter. Shields shimmered across the hull. Weapons charged with low hums. The massive warship, once a symbol of peace, now stood like a giant ready for battle. Across the stars, the Xeric fleet closed in, surrounding the Titan like wolves around prey. The silence of space seemed to tremble with what was about to come. Myra gripped the command chair. Hold steady. Let them make the first move. But if they strike, we will answer with all we have. The crew nodded, their fear now hardened into resolve. The stage was set. The Horizon faced its first true test. The galaxy that had held its breath was now waiting for the clash. Humanity's Titan had come to the edge of peace, and beyond that edge waited fire. The Xeric fleet closed in around Horizon like a tightening net. Dozens of warships glimmered under the starlight, their sharp hulls built for speed and destruction. The crew of Horizon watched the screens in silence, each heart beating fast. This was no drill, no simulation. It was their first battle in the stars, and the entire galaxy would hear of its outcome. Shields ready, Ryan said, his voice firm though his hands trembled slightly over the console. Weapons charged and standing by, Hale added, his tone cold and steady. Xeric ships in formation, Sara reported. They are not here to talk. They are preparing to strike. Captain Myra stood at the center of the command deck, calm in the storm. Her eyes were locked on the growing swarm of enemy ships. She had expected a test, but not like this. Yet she knew retreat was not an option. If Horizon fell here, humanity would be remembered as weak. A message came through, crackling with rough alien tones, quickly translated by the system. This is the Xeric Dominion. Humans, you have built a weapon too great for your kind. You are not welcome beyond your world. Surrender your Titan or be destroyed. The words drew anger across the crew. Hale slammed his fist against the console. They call us children, Captain. They want us to kneel. Myra raised a hand to steady her crew. Her voice was clear. We will not kneel. Open channel. She faced the screen, her voice carrying through the stars. This is Captain Myra of Horizon. We are not here for conquest. We are here to stand as equals. We will not surrender. If you strike us, we will defend ourselves. Her words were strong, but the Xeric replied with silence. Then, without warning, their ships fired. Bolts of red light streaked through space, slamming into Horizon's shields. The Titan shook but held steady. Sparks danced across the bridge as systems strained under the impact. Shields at 80%, Ryan called out. Return fire, Myra commanded. Horizon answered with its own power. Bright beams of energy burst from its heavy cannons, cutting across the void. One Xeric ship exploded instantly, torn apart by the Titan's strike. Another spun out of formation, crippled. The battle had begun. The Xeric swarmed like predators, circling and firing from all angles. Horizon turned slowly, its heavy frame less agile than the smaller ships, but its weapons spoke with devastating force. Each shot from the Titan tore through enemy ranks. 2 more down. Hale shouted, his hands moving fast over the controls. But they keep coming. The ship shook again as enemy fire rained against its shields. Consoles flickered, and alarms echoed across the deck. Shields at 60%, Ryan reported, his voice tense but unbroken. Reinforcing with reserve power. Myra gripped her chair tightly. Hold the line. Show them humanity does not break. Outside, the Titan glowed with strength. Its shields shimmered against the storm of fire, its cannons blazing like thunder. The crew worked as one, each order flowing into action. Fear still lived in their hearts, but so did something stronger resolve. Then, through the chaos, a gap opened in the Xeric formation. Myra saw it. Sara, she commanded, bring us forward. Straight through the center. Split them apart. Sara's hands moved with sharp precision. Horizon surged ahead, its massive bulk forcing the enemy to scatter. As it advanced, its weapons tore down 3 more ships in a line, clearing a path through the swarm. Cheers erupted on the deck, but the battle was far from over. The Xeric regrouped quickly, anger driving them. More fire slammed into Horizon's shields. The Titan groaned under the pressure. Shields at 35%. Ryan shouted. We cannot take this much longer. Myra's mind raced. They could not outlast the entire fleet. They needed to break the enemy's will. Hale, she said sharply. Target their command ship. Take out their leader. Without command, the rest will scatter. Hale's eyes burned with focus. Locked. Fire. The Horizon's main cannon roared with power, brighter than all other weapons. The beam shot straight across space, slamming into the largest Xeric vessel. For a heartbeat, silence. Then the ship burst into flame, breaking apart in a violent explosion that lit the dark. The Xeric formation wavered. Without command, their attack faltered. Some ships broke off, retreating. Others scattered, firing wildly. On the deck of Horizon, relief spread, but Myra kept her voice strong. Press the advantage. Drive them back. The Titan pushed forward, weapons blazing. One by one, the Xeric fell. In minutes, the swarm that had seemed so overwhelming was in retreat, pulling back into the depths of space. "Shields at 20%, Ryan reported, sweat on his brow. "But we still stand." The crew cheered. The Titan had survived its first trial of fire. Against overwhelming odds, it had held the line and forced the enemy to flee. Myra looked around at her crew. Their faces were lit with pride and relief. She let out a slow breath. "We proved ourselves today. Not only to the Xeruk, but to the galaxy. Humanity will not be pushed aside." Far away, across the galaxy, the news spread quickly. The humans had faced the Xeruk and lived. More than that, they had stood firm. The horizon was no rumor now, it was legend. And yet, Myra knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen humanity's strength. Some would respect it. Others would fear it. The path ahead would not be easy. But for now, as the horizon sailed through the quiet after battle, one truth was clear. Humanity had passed the test of fire, and the stars would never look at them the same again. The battle with the Xeruk did not stay hidden. Within days, news of Horizon's victory spread like fire across the galaxy. Merchants whispered of it in crowded ports. Explorers repeated it in distant stations. Even governments of great power discussed it in secret councils. A single human ship had faced the Xeruk Dominion and survived. More than that, it had won. On Horizon, the crew could feel the change in the air. Pride mixed with unease. The stars no longer looked silent. Now, eyes were watching them everywhere. Ryan stood by the window of the observation deck, staring at the trail of light left by retreating ships. His voice was quiet when Myra joined him. "Do you think they will come again?" Myra folded her arms, her gaze calm yet sharp. "The Xeruk will not forget this defeat. But they will not be the only ones to notice. Others will come. Some as friends. Some as foes." Her words proved true sooner than anyone expected. 2 days later, a signal reached the ship. It was not Xeruk. The message was calm, spoken in a smooth, musical voice. "This is the Council of 12 Worlds. We request a meeting with the humans who fought the Xeruk. We wish to know your strength and your purpose." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Hale scowled. "So now they come to test us too?" Sarah shook her head. "No. This is different. The Council of 12 are not raiders. They are respected across the stars. If they call for a meeting, it is not war they seek. It is judgment." Myra listened in silence before she gave her order. "Set course. We will meet them. Humanity cannot hide in the shadows. If we want a place in the galaxy, we must step forward." The journey was tense. Every crew member felt the weight of what was coming. This was not just another fight. It was a chance to prove humanity's worth before many worlds. When Horizon arrived, the crew gasped. Floating before them was a massive station, larger than any city on Earth. Its rings glowed with blue energy. Ships of many designs moved in and out, some small, some huge, but all elegant in their own way. This was the seat of the council. Permission to dock was granted. As Horizon approached, thousands of eyes surely turned toward the human vessel. Some looked with curiosity. Others with doubt. The crew gathered, wearing their best uniforms. They walked together through the station's great halls, where beings of all shapes and colors passed by. Some paused to stare at the humans, whispering in languages that the translators struggled to catch. At the center of the station was the council chamber, a vast room lit by streams of golden light. 12 high seats circled the chamber, each holding a representative from a different world. Myra stepped forward as the council began. She felt the weight of history pressing down, but her voice stayed strong. The first to speak was a tall being with silver skin and long, calm eyes. Humans. We have heard you face the Xeric and lived. Few can claim such a thing. Tell us, why do you walk into the galaxy now? Do you seek war, or peace? Myra raised her head. We seek a place among the stars. We do not want to rule over others, nor do we wish to kneel. We wish to stand as equals. Her words stirred quiet whispers among the council. Another speaker, a creature with wings folded across its back, leaned forward. But you are young. Your kind has only just stepped beyond its world. Why should older races treat you as equal? What proof do you have that you are ready? Hale stepped forward, his voice sharp. Because we will not be broken. The Xeric tried, and they failed. Humanity is small, yes, but small fires can burn brighter than stars. The chamber filled with more whispers. Some nodded. Some frowned. Finally, a voice deeper than the rest spoke. It belonged to a being of stone-like skin, heavy and unshaken. Courage alone is not enough. You must prove that your strength will not bring chaos. Tell us, human captain, if you are tested again, will you choose honor or power? Myra's gaze did not waver. If tested, we will defend ourselves. But we will not strike first. Humanity has learned the cost of war on its own world. We will not spread that pain to others. We came to the stars to rise, not to destroy. Silence followed. The council spoke among themselves in hushed tones. Then, one by one, their eyes turned back to the humans. The silver-skinned leader finally stood. The Council of 12 recognizes humanity as more than rumor. You have shown strength, and you have spoken of honor. Yet the stars are full of shadows. If you wish to join us, your journey has only begun. Prove yourselves not only in battle but in peace. If you can do this, humanity will be welcome. A wave of relief passed through the crew. It was not full acceptance, but it was not rejection either. It was a chance, a path forward. As they left the chamber, Ryan whispered, "We did it. They will give us a place." Myra nodded, though her eyes were thoughtful. They gave us a chance. Now we must prove we deserve it. And that may be the harder battle. Far beyond, in the dark reaches of space, the Xeric watched and waited. Their pride was wounded, their anger growing. They would not forgive. While the Council opened its doors to humanity, the Dominion sharpened its claws. Horizon had gained respect, but danger still followed close. The galaxy had begun to take notice of humankind. Now the question was not if they belonged, but whether they could endure the storms to come. The Horizon left the Council station with heavy hearts but also with pride. Humanity had been given a chance. It was not full trust, not full welcome, but it was more than anyone had hoped for. They were no longer unseen wanderers. They were now part of the story of the stars. Yet even as the crew breathed in this new hope, a storm was already building. The Xeric Dominion had not forgotten their defeat. To them, Horizon was not a symbol of respect, it was an insult, a scar on their pride. The Dominion prepared its fleets in secret, swearing to crush the humans and show the galaxy that no young race could rise so quickly. On Horizon, Myra sensed the danger. She stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the stars ahead. "They will come," she said to her officers. "The Xeric cannot accept this loss. We must be ready." Hale leaned forward at his station. How many do you think they will send? More than before, Myra replied. They want not only to destroy us but to send a message to the whole galaxy. Her words came true sooner than they expected. A warning signal reached Horizon from a Thelen vessel nearby. The Xeric Dominion is moving. A fleet of warships is heading to intercept you. They will not stop. The crew felt a chill pass through them. Horizon was strong, but could it stand against an entire fleet? Ryan broke the silence. Captain, the Council must know. If the Xeric attack us, they are not only attacking humanity, they are defying the Council's words. Myra nodded. Send the call. But do not wait for help. If we must fight, we fight. Humanity's strength must be seen, not hidden. The stars darkened as the Xeric fleet emerged. Dozens of warships filled the void, their black hulls glowing with crimson light. At their center was a massive flagship, larger than most stations. A voice boomed across the channel, cold and sharp. Humans. You were given more than you deserve. Today, we end your arrogance. Hale spat the words under his breath. Here it begins. Myra's voice was calm as she gave her command. Shields up. Weapons ready. Stand firm. The battle began with a storm of fire. Beams of energy cut through space, shaking Horizon's shields. The crew worked as one, their hands flying across controls, their voices steady even as the ship trembled. Horizon answered with its full strength. Massive cannons lit the dark, tearing into the nearest Xeric vessels. 2 enemy ships fell, but more rushed in to take their place. The sky was chaos, explosions, flashes of light, and the roar of weapons echoing through the void. Ryan's voice was sharp. Shields at 60%. Sarah shouted from her console. We cannot hold forever. Myra gripped the arm of her chair, her eyes never leaving the battle. We do not need forever. We only need enough to show them we will not break. The Xeric pressed harder, circling Horizon like wolves around prey. The ship shook as blows struck its hull. Sparks flew inside the bridge. Still, the crew held their ground. Still, Horizon fought back. And then, just as the enemy began to close in for the final strike, new signals filled the scanners. Ships were arriving, dozens of them. They were not Xeric. They were from the Council. Thelen cruisers, winged vessels of the Arden, heavy carriers of the Stoneborn. Allies had come. A voice rang out from the Council fleet. To the Xeric Dominion, stand down. Humanity has proven itself. If you strike them now, you strike us all. The Xeric flagship hesitated. For the first time, the Dominion saw that humanity was no longer alone. Their fleet had strength, but now the galaxy stood against them. Still, their pride would not let them retreat without one final strike. The flagship unleashed a massive wave of fire toward Horizon. The crew braced themselves, but before the attack could hit, Council ships moved in, shielding the humans with their own hulls. The blast tore through, but Horizon remained standing. Myra rose from her chair. Her voice was steady as she spoke to the enemy. You tried to break us. You failed. Humanity does not kneel, and we do not stand alone. Silence followed across the battlefield. Then, slowly, the Xeric fleet began to withdraw. Their defeat was not total, but their message had failed. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not alone. As the stars grew quiet once more, the Council fleet formed around Horizon. Messages of respect and welcome filled the channels. For the first time, humanity was seen not as intruders, but as equals. On the bridge, Ryan let out a long breath. It is over. Myra shook her head. No. It has only begun. Today we showed we belong. Tomorrow, we must prove we can endure. The crew stood tall, their faces lit by the glow of the stars. The horizon had carried humanity through fire and shadow, and it had not fallen. Now the path ahead was open, wide, and endless. The galaxy had seen humanity's titan. The galaxy had felt humanity's strength. And for the first time in history, the galaxy looked at Earth not with doubt, but with respect. The age of humanity among the stars had begun.